This is the time of year when students across the country are anxiously waiting for a response to their college application letters. Getting accepted into their top school is not the only concern for college applicants and their parents. The Princeton Review has released its annual College Hopes and Worries survey. More than 14,000 students and parents were asked about their experiences and expectations surrounding the college application process. Rob Franek is the Senior Vice President and publisher of the Princeton Review. He is also the co-author of a new book called If the U Fits, expert advice on finding the right college and getting accepted. Rob, good morning.
Good to see you. Thank you for inviting me again.
So tell me about the survey you conducted. It's the 11th year you're doing it, right?
It is. The survey is called College Hopes and Worries, and we've been conducting it at the Princeton Review now for 11 years. It's a survey of both college-bound students and their families' hopes and fears around the college process, and it is always revealing to us at the Princeton Review each year.
So what did you find were the main concerns among parents and students when it comes to applying to and attending college?
Generally speaking, students and families were concerned about debt, and we've talked in the past on CBS about the rising debt of students and the rising cost of college. So we know from the College Hopes and Worries survey that college-bound students and their families are concerned. They're also concerned over testing, and then one of the biggest concerns also is that students would get into their first choice schools, but families wouldn't be able to pay for it.
So speaking of testing,
yes.
I know that you found that that was the main concern among students, but parents say their biggest concern was application processes and financial aid.
You're right, and it's not too ironic to us. I mean, students are the ones taking the SAT or ACT and AP exams, and parents are the ones, generally speaking, filling out the FAFSA form and other financial aid forms as well. So it takes a toll on both students and parents.
Was there any area where students and parents greatly differed?
Actually, when we're thinking about distance from home to go to school, most students wanted to go over 250 miles away from their parents, probably not too surprising, and parents wanted their students to stay 250 miles or closer to their own family home. But
they wanted to keep their babies close to the nest.
You have it exactly. You have it exactly.
So what's the single most important piece of advice you would give to parents and students who are undergoing the college application process for next year?
Yeah, it's a good question. The easiest and most direct piece of advice that we can get from the Princeton Review is to start the college process as early as possible. This is researching schools, preparing for tests, and certainly tackling the financial aid issues. Never, never, never not start to consider financial aid early on in the college process.
And so what would you say students and parents need to keep in mind as they're getting their letters from the colleges right now?
So for students that right now are high school seniors and getting back those letters of admission, which most of them will be hitting March 15th to April 1st, let's say. So if you're applying to 10 schools, and then 8 schools will admit you, you have to wait for all of those admission letters to come in, because joined with those admission letters will be financial aid letters as well. So you have to make sure that for those 8 schools that you've been admitted to, that it's both a great fit academically, but it must be a financial aid fit as well.
I can imagine this must be a nerve-wracking time for parents and students, especially as they get those letters. What advice can you give them to sort of manage their stress?
Well, you probably pat yourself on the back. You've done a good job up till now. Wait for those letters to come in. You still have until National Deposit Deadline, which is May 1st of this year, to decide which college you're going to go to. And you'll be hearing directly from schools about why their school could be a great fit for you. Always yield to the opinion of students from those schools, so arm yourself with as much information as possible about what students are experiencing on each of those campuses.
It's their future, after all.
You have it exactly. Excellent.
Rob Franek, Senior Vice President and the publisher of the Princeton Review. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here. Thanks again.